Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dink Tank Podcast. My name's JJ.
And I'm Graham.
And this is episode 23.
23.
Finally,
yeah. We've taken a little unintentional break.
Yeah, mostly my fault. I've been traveling a lot.
Been traveling a lot. Yeah, you've done a lot.
Yes, I have.
Busy few weeks.
Yeah, and we can get into that a little bit towards the end of the podcast with just some tournaments, because I just got back from Worlds. We did also play in Vegas together. I touched upon the other Vegas event that Jack and I had played in. So basically like 3 PPAs in the last 6 weeks, which has been a lot. And yeah, some other fun stuff in there too, but we can get into that. But in the time that we've been gone, a lot of paddles have come out.
It's stacking up.
Yeah, it's a lot. And so we figured just do a very paddle intensive episode and get into some other news and just some other thoughts that kind of been going on in the pickleball world. But yeah, and I also know there's something that you got sent that you wanted to talk about as well.
For sure. So we can jump into all of that now.
Yeah. First thing, actually, I do want to shout out, which you just got your full supply.
Yes.
I've been rocking it for a little bit. Shout out to Centerline Apparel. They've unofficial, official, I guess, apparel sponsor for the podcast. We've been kind of working with them, talking with them for a while. I did a collab post at one of my Vegas events, but been really enjoying their stuff. We were supposed to match at our last tournament. Unfortunately, the package didn't come in, but I want to give them a huge shout out because they make great stuff. I'm wearing it right now. Yeah. I'm sure you'll start seeing you wear more of it as well. Because, you just got your...
Yeah, I've really enjoyed their stuff. I've got a few pieces from them that I really enjoy. I have a hoodie from them that it's one of my favorite hoodies.
Yeah, and I've been wearing the joggers traveling to every event and just being on the road recently. So yeah, they make really high quality stuff. I'll put a link in the description if you guys just want to check out their website. But yeah, I just want to give them a quick shout out. But jumping into some paddles.
Yeah.
Got
a few.
Yeah, so 6-0 is back. They were gone for a while. Obviously, they had some releases like the Quartz and the Sapphire, which were budget options, which I think came out last year. I think they were a little bit underwhelming from what 6-0's expectations were. They had some Infinity paddles, which were edgeless versions, which I think they have some patents on actually for their technology on that, but not exactly what everyone's looking for. Everyone's looking for 6-0, make a power paddle.
Yep.
And we have that.
Yeah.
So basically, the new Opal, which just came out, and then we have the Ruby Pro, which I released maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And very interesting. I have some very interesting thoughts on this. So we'll start with the Ruby Pro. Insanely gritty. I think everyone was kind of seeing that. That's what all the reviewers were touching upon when we got it. It has their new grit texture, which does have industry grade diamonds that is put into the epoxy as the top layer on the paddle of the carbon fiber. So yeah,
insanely gritty is kind of an understatement.
Yeah,
we say that about a lot of paddles. This is literal sandpaper.
Yeah,
not like, oh, it's sandpaper. Actual sandpaper. Literally the grittiest paddle you've ever felt, for sure.
And at Worlds, which I just got back from, Dale, the owner of 6-0, had a little event. And so he was able to give us a little bit more information about the paddles, some clarification questions, but we were able to see more because obviously I got this unit and I'm like, okay, surely the retail release isn't going to be this gritty. Maybe it's 90%, but it was still very gritty. I was very surprised. All the ones I touched felt like that. And it's more gritty than the Opal. Now, we'll get into it. That doesn't necessarily mean I don't think that paddle spins like the Opal. Some of the spin I was able to get at that event was insane. But yeah, it's very fascinating kind of just looking at this. And I asked some questions because I thought maybe it came down to dwell time because I feel that the Opal gets more dwell than the Ruby Pro. And I know there's some other brands that have had some issues with having more grit and dwell leads to going past the limits on the spin tests, which it seems like is going to soon be the standard. It's not going to be the grit levels and whatever else. It's going to just be a spin test going forward in the future. Obviously, UPA is doing that now. But yeah, it's fascinating looking at the differences between the two. I also heard that Baylor University, which is a 6-0 school for pickleball, almost all their players chose the Ruby Pro based off the grit.
Really?
Which was, I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, that's a big thing for, I think, retail buyers. When you're in a store, you feel the paddles. You want the one that's most gritty because you know it's going to wear down.
Yeah.
But I do have some thoughts which will be in my review just about the differences of that. And we've touched upon this with like paddle techs, because paddle techs are pretty smooth and you can rip balls with that.
For sure.
Yolas too. It's like everyone feels, and it's like, why aren't these gritty? And it's like, that's not all spin is. But yeah, I was expecting the Opal though to be closer to this or somewhere in between.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
But if we want to run into some specs first about the Ruby Pro.
Yeah, so swing weight on this was 113, twist weight was 6.2, and then price it's like 225.
Yeah, no, and then I think that's without discount code, but you can use our Pickleball Central link, which also gives you that 30 days of like no questions asked returns, which I think you just get a credit on Pickleball Central's website. They have some requirements for reviews this time around. A little unclear, so I don't know if my code will be working or not, but regardless, I'll put that down there if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, I think the main thing with this, and as well as the Opal, which we'll get more into, is just that surface grit with that industrial diamond that's integrated into that epoxy. But in terms of how this feels and how it plays, it's very, very similar, just your standard Gen 2 paddle. It actually does have wider cells, though. I believe it's a 12 millimeter cell core. And if you like the original, like Ruby, or like the Ruby Infinity, it just has a little more power and pop. One thing that this has that they also implemented on both of these paddles is shock shield, which is like, I think basically the whole thing is tennis elbow. They're trying to lower those vibrations. So they actually drilled some holes into the handle and they injected silicone. Whether that works or not, I don't know. I'll need more testing. But that's something that they've done some R&D on, which they're claiming has been effective, which is why they included it. And also this has their power gel, I believe, which the Opal also does, which just allows them to tweak the paddle a little bit. But overall, like I said, the biggest thing that this is going to kind of come down to is just how does the surface hold up? Because that's what most people are going to care the most about between these two paddles. But yeah, just in terms of performance, it's kind of a souped up Gen 2 with just hopefully longer lasting grit.
Yeah.
And also I think they did install a NFC chip in this, just if you ever sell a paddle in the second market, or if you're just buying one online and you're trying to make sure it's not a counterfeit, you can scan the NFC chip. The warranty might go through that. I think that's what Yola.
That's what Yola does. I know. I don't think Carbon just did the NFC chip, but it wasn't with the warranty. So
yeah, they did it just to be able to validate, because they have a lot of, over in China, just a lot of counterfeits that get sold. So yeah, cool stuff. Yeah, definitely a good option. But let's jump into the fun one, which is the Opal. And just a quick disclaimer, which I'm sure other people have covered, but the reviewers were sent a batch, not the people that went on the China trip with 6-0 a couple months back, but everyone else got sent what we thought were final production models of the Opal. And for the most part, they are. The performance is the same, but there was a slight tweak to the production models. So while I was at Worlds, the owner of 6-0, Dale, did give me a new one, which I will be playtesting before my review drops. And I was able to play extensively with it at their event, which was definitely a different opinion of this paddle for me. And I'll get more into the performance after, but I just kind of wanted to start this section with that. But do you want to run through just like the specs of this one?
Yeah. So swing weight with this one is also 113, and then twist weight's 6.3, so a little bit higher.
Yeah, I think it's the same. It comes in at 225, and again, that's before code, depending on which code you can use. But just to get a little bit into the specs and the core of this, they're using a high density foam. So this is a Gen 4 paddle, which then has a very, very thin layer of EVA foam, which we've seen a lot. But it actually then is surrounded with another ring of the high density foam that's found in the core. So it's not thermoformed. also has the diamond grit texture. As we mentioned, it's definitely smoother than the Ruby at the touch.
Yeah.
But that, I'll tell you, that does not limit the spin that I was getting with this thing.
Yeah.
At the event, I'll put maybe one of the clips that I'll have in my review, but there was a drive I ripped, and maybe it was unique to this paddle. I don't know, but I tried a couple of them and I was able to do it with multiple. And we also did have some of like from this batch compared to this batch of the paddles. So we were switching between the two. Just kind of feeling the differences between the paddles, but just literally ripped it and it dove between the person's legs while they were standing at the kitchen line. It was crazy. I was definitely in love with the paddle at that event, which was definitely a better impression of the paddle than I had had back here using this one. But a lot of that just kind of comes back down to feel. It has it's a unique like thud sound that comes off this paddle, which is it's kind of hard to explain. But it definitely has changed a little bit. It's more in line with some of the other foam paddles that I've hit. It still feels different, but basically I think some of the main adjustments were done like in the throat, but this also has that power gel that the Ruby has that we had mentioned where they're able to make adjustments. And basically they just made some improvements in their like commission line of when producing this paddle. And kind of one of the big issues that I think a lot of us were having with the original batch was just some inconsistencies across the face, which you and I have voiced a lot with foam paddles. Even with some ones that we really like, even like the Loco, there's just more dead spots than Gen 3 paddles or even Gen 2 paddles that are thermoformed for that matter.
Yeah.
Which is why we both have been maining a Gen 3 paddle as of late, even though we both have the Loco in the bag as well.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, when I was originally playtesting this paddle, you'd hit some drops or some drives and just a couple of them would just fly. It'd be a lot hotter. It'd be kind of more inconsistent in terms of the power, not necessarily the feel, but just kind of what the paddle would give you. And with the new one, it seems like that has been improved to an extent. And I think that was kind of what they were going out for.
Yeah.
And I think the original one was just kind of a little bit too tied down. And the main thing they had changed is they made adjustments to the bonding and the framing of this paddle. And yeah, so assuming this one lines up with the one I used in Dallas, I definitely think it was a good improvement right before launch, and all of them that are releasing to the public are this one, I was told. None of the ones from this batch will be shipped. So yeah, so overall, just I don't know. It was a little frustrating, which I'm sure a lot of the other reviewers who had reviews already ready, all had to make disclaimers, and that's another reason why some people also have held off, because we obviously had assumed that it was going to be the same paddle. And again, performance for the most part is, so everyone's thoughts will be in line there. Just I think the consistencies in the feel of the paddle is going to just be tweaked a little bit and for the better. So I'm excited to play more with this. I'm very excited to get this in your hands more.
I'm excited.
Because I think you'll like the new one a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, so these are out now and 6.0 is back, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's also just nice too that it's not, for price point wise, not that price determines if a paddle's good or not, but it's not breaking the bank. Like,
yeah, no, it's not the top of the top end.
It's kind of just in a good spot there. So
yeah, I'm excited. I haven't gotten to hit those yet. So,
and there's some other exciting stuff to come from 6.0 as well. We'll leave it at that. I know there's some stuff that's probably circling, but I don't want to jump the gun on some things. But yeah, we'll have more news to come from 6.0. So very excited for that. But do you want to jump into...
Yeah, you got some paddles over there.
Yeah, so we've had these for a little bit. And nothing too crazy, but basically new versions of the Flamingo, which... I used at Worlds last year, the prototype that looked like the Series 3. You and I both mained that paddle for well over 6 months, it felt like.
Yep.
Still in and out of both of our bags. But basically, they introduced a 13 millimeter and then a square shape. So the square comes in 13 millimeters and 15 millimeters. And then the elongated that we've had for the last 9 months or so still comes in 15 millimeters and now a 13 millimeter. And one of the only adjustments I will say, though, is even with the 15 millimeter, they actually did make it lighter. So I think they originally came in around 8 ounces or 8.1. Now they're coming in around 7.8, 7.9. I've been told that we're trying to remove weight. And boy, can you tell on the 13 millimeter.
Yeah. It's very light.
It's very light and it's very unstable.
Yeah. Definitely needs weight. Lots of it.
Yeah. And let's just jump into this one.
You know, it doesn't need weight. You know, it's very stable.
Yeah.
This one's got 8 twist weight. So it's kind of the J4 shape. So, or not kind of, it's the same as the J4.
Speaking of,
yeah. So it is a square. When we said it's a square,
yeah,
we meant it. It is a square. But performance wise, it's really good. If you like a standard shape paddle and you've been wanting one from Proton, that's not just the Series 1.
Yeah.
Here it is.
And it's interesting because we've seen Proton mess around with different wide body shapes.
Yeah.
Because we saw this with the Series 1 of the original one, kind of had a really thin throat. And then if you remember, the new Series 1s that had the redesign,
yeah,
they had a different taper, which I think you and I were both more fond of.
Yeah, I like that.
And it just looked better too.
Yeah, for sure.
This is an interesting choice to me.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, and you said it, it does play well. Like the 15 millimeter square plays well.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned with the same issues of everyone brought up with the J4. I mean, we've even seen Honolulu go away from the J4 shape. Like they didn't make the J4 in the NF.
Yeah.
They made the J3, fantastic shape. And you know, I do not like wide bodies.
Yeah, the
usually.
J3 is a good shape.
But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that it's definitely unique. It definitely fits Proton's brand. But one of the big issues that I have found with the square shape, which started with this, where I was like, you know, actually, I don't mind playing with it. Like it actually feels fine. The problem is, which I had mentioned on this podcast before, when I go to dig a ball at an angle, that's a sharp corner. You don't have much face that you normally would have on a rounded top or, yeah, I guess just a rounded top like wide body, like the J3 or like the Mach 2 Forza.
Sure.
Just more standard shape wide bodies that we're used to seeing. With that being said, though, taking balls out of the air or blocks, thing's a tank because it doesn't twist. It's great.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's got pros and cons. I think the biggest thing, which I'm assuming you would agree with, is just, are people going to like the look of it?
Yeah, for sure. That is the hard question. So, but it's got a new nice white edge guard.
That's what I was going to bring up. Yeah, they added the white edge guard to both instead of the pink and blue being the only option.
Yeah, so those look nice, and I don't know. Like you said, performance is good, so I'm sure some people will like it, and others won't like the design. Others didn't like the design of the J4, so
yeah.
Isaac won't like it.
That's definitely not.
Isaac definitely will not like it.
But yeah, it's one of those things of like, you and I both are big fans of the Flamingo. Like,
sure.
Great paddle. I wish these had come out
with the Flamingo,
with the original, or a couple months after. I think it's just a little late. Yeah. Not saying that the paddle, like the performance of these paddles is still up to par with,
for sure,
top of the market.
100%.
I'll be intrigued to see the durability. Obviously, there were some issues with the original Flamingo. You and I had drastic differences in our experiences with that. I went through like 2 Flamingos where like didn't really break. You had one that broke after like 4 months with core crushing. We have a buddy that broke one. He breaks everything though. Like he'll break a Yola in a week. He'll break. I think he's even broken a paddle tech, which is hard to believe. Yeah, not in the obviously not core crushing sense, but other ways. Just anyways, it just comes down to of. If you were looking for a Gen 3 paddle, these are top of the market in terms of price with $280. That's the only thing where it's like a little bit harder to recommend, given some of the options like the Thrive Fury, which you and I have both been playing with. Yep. Granted, doesn't come in a wide body. But yeah, still a great paddle. I just feel like I wish these came out earlier. That's kind of my only knock on it. It's great to see that they have more options.
For sure.
I personally would like to see more of an adjustment on this. I think a wide body is not a bad thing to have in the lineup, but I just wish, a little bit more of a traditional looking wide body. I'm definitely intrigued to mess around with the 13 millimeter though, with weight, because I was actually talking with Charles at Worlds. I ran into him and he was giving me and John Hughes kind of the rundown. And I was like, okay, I didn't know that they took weight out of it, which made my opinion of the 13 millimeter change a little bit. because I'm like, okay, you need to customize the paddle, which again is not going to be for everybody, but I traditionally do like thinner paddles than you.
Yeah.
And if I can put the weight exactly where I want on this thing and keep that hand speed, I'll be intrigued. So I'm going to mess around with it more. I'll have more thoughts probably in the next pod. But we've had these for a little bit, but honestly, I've mostly just been playing with the square just because it's the most new thing. Like we know the Flamingo probably better than almost anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah. And it's one of those things of too, obviously they still have their warranty of where even with grit wearing down, they'll replace it. So yeah, new things out of them. The other thing I wanted to touch upon too from Proton, and this is what I honestly was probably the most disappointed in, is we were able to talk about this a couple months ago. Had a lot of people asking, where is it? It's coming soon, and this is the Peacock.
Yeah.
So they had some issues with the original one. They ended up actually changing the core. Different issues than the Vatic had with their original, foam paddle budget that just came out, which then eventually became the V-Sol. So I kind of compare it to that situation of they're close to production. Something kind of wasn't to their liking. They made adjustments and we're close to a final release. I think that's going to be coming out within the next month, 2 months.
Yeah.
So if you've been waiting for this, which kind of was what I've been waiting to recommend, assuming it plays very similar to the Flamingo, because I originally had said, and this is the prototype still, so this has the older core. I should be getting the new one this week. But it's like the sweet spot was 90% as good as the Flamingo. It was a little bit heavier, a little bit poppier. But yeah, it won't break.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a foam core. And that's what's exciting about this, because it won't break. They guarantee spin. It's like, if you're paying $280, those are things that we're trying to see.
For sure.
Because even with the boomstick, like obviously Selkirk has a pretty good warranty system. Obviously the fine print's a little bit tricky on that, but I don't think they're going to deny a legitimate claim after, 2 issues. But their edge guards keep popping off.
Yeah.
And it's like great paddle, lifetime warranty or limited lifetime warranty. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good paddle. The Peacock's good. It's very much like the F1 Flick.
Yeah.
Or this one was.
Yeah.
We haven't hit the new one yet.
With the new core. I mean, the biggest thing is just the only thing that's a little bit unfortunate is their timing with this would have been great, because they would have been one of the first foam paddles out, and it was almost ready. And I wish they had just figured out those tweaks sooner.
Yeah.
Because the problem is now, as we had mentioned even before we started filming, the Quanta, the V-Sol, like there's just
there's a lot of good paddles out right now.
A lot of good budget paddles out right now.
Yeah.
And so
with high performance.
Yes. And so that's my only concern for where the Peacock's going to lie. But I know there's a lot of Proton fans. So I'm just hoping it lives up to the hype, because I was very, very excited a couple months ago and I thought this was going to come out. And now there's just a lot of competition. So when we get our hands on the final production, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how it stacks up. But I just want to give an update because it is coming. I finally have gotten confirmation on that. They were just waiting on getting more units, getting approval. I think it did show up on the UPAA list now. So yeah, we'll be seeing that very shortly. So a lot of new paddles in their lineup in terms of SKUs. But yeah, excited to actually
excited
have people to be able to use it.
For sure. We got Pickleball Apes.
Yep.
Charm.
Yes, we do. So this has a unique core of where it's kind of like this rigid system of where it's broken up and the core flexes. It's all foam. Do you want to run through the specs real quick actually on this?
Yeah. Yeah. So we got swing weight on this is 123. So a little heavy. And then the twist weight was around 6.45. So
and was price 200?
I think so.
I think it's around there before code.
Around 200 probably before code. That's usually where they sit with their paddles.
Yeah, we can check on that. It's definitely an all court paddle. It's all foam, as I had mentioned. And it's definitely plusher, a more plush feeling paddle than stiff. The sound's very unique. The feel's very unique. I wasn't the biggest fan when I first played with it. The performance of it's very good. The feedback for me isn't I loved the pulse from them. That was one of my favorite paddles that year. I still even will pick that up. At the time it was low end power, definitely all court now. But also a little logo refresh too, I wanted to point out.
Yeah. No, I know.
I kind of like it. More of a modern look. The only other thing too, I'll say I was a little disappointed. And again, this goes back to this isn't the end all be all for spin. Definitely less gritty than some of their past paddles. I was a little surprised by that.
Yeah. The pulse was very gritty.
It was insanely gritty. And yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, more time will tell on this. I definitely think it's a solid option, especially for like when I was playing with this, it's definitely one that was easy to pick up and just go play with.
Yeah.
I don't know if the feel is going to be for everybody in terms of the feedback, but it definitely, you get more feedback from the ball than some other foam paddles. So that part I did like about it. It just going down in power. It's got to be one of those things that I'm very comfortable with. And I'm like, I really love the feel of this. I'm really comfortable playing with it. And I think I just need more time on it. This is another one too. I want you to probably test drive a little bit as well. But I love the innovation with this paddle. I'll put probably the core up on screen. It's definitely unique what they had done. But more time to tell on this one. I'll probably do a first look on this as well.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if I can play with this color as an Alabama fan. It's too close to Tennessee.
Not the only one, too.
Too close.
I guess Auburn's darker orange, aren't they?
Yeah, Auburn's darker.
And Navy as well.
Navy, but very Tennessee.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to give Pickleball Apes a quick shout out because
I love their stuff.
Yeah.
That purple one was...
dude, it was so good. I saw a lot. I'll tell you, I saw a decent amount of Pickleball Apes bags at Worlds too.
Yeah.
So I definitely, they've got a very strong brand. I love their stuff on TikTok too.
Yeah.
It's so good. But yeah, that's one I'm definitely gonna need more time on. It's definitely an interesting paddle though.
Yeah.
And I think it deserves more time. And then after that, well, are we down to
just a couple left?
Let's jump into the James paddle.
Yeah.
And do you have specs on this? I know we've talked about it.
I do.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do specs first. And then I'll give just a little more of my thoughts on this because they have changed a little bit.
Yeah. So we got 114 swing weight and then 6.2 twist weight. So high twist weight for 114 swing weight.
And obviously I've thrown some more weight on this.
Yeah.
Because static weight, I think this comes in pretty light. I think it's around 7.9.
It definitely feels light.
Maybe 7.8. This is the 14 millimeter.
Yeah.
And I think since we've last talked, I think the 16 millimeter was a 0.44 on the PV core. I believe they resubmitted a new one. I think they're down to 0.43 now.
Okay, cool.
So they're good across the lineup. They also do have, I think, a wide body shape. But yeah, this is James Ignatowicz's brand. I meant to sit down with him in Vegas, and we were really beat after our doubles day, which we'll get into after this. But this was a paddle where I've been seeing a ton of these. I saw a lot of these at Worlds. Very happy for James to see his success with this. It was one of those things of where I'm like, I think you too a little bit. We're like, we like it, but we're just like, it just doesn't feel like a fully complete paddle as like the Yola is, which obviously he's just trying to fine tune, make a better version of. And I think he made a very good paddle. And obviously it's a little cheaper. But once I added weight on the 14 millimeter, the feel of this paddle really changed. Feels a lot more solid. I like the feedback. Obviously it's more stable. It doesn't spin quite as much as the next paddle we're going to talk about, which fits very much into what this paddle is trying to achieve.
Yeah. And
I only bring that up because obviously the name of the brand is RPM. With that being said, though, I do really enjoy this paddle. It dwells well. I can place balls on the court. And since adding weight on where I usually put it 3 and 9, which honestly I've been getting away from a little bit on some of the paddles just because of the way they've been stacking up, I have really, really enjoyed this paddle. And I know you've played some with this as well.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's definitely a play on the Yola, and it's a very solid Gen 3 paddle. I do really enjoy this paddle. I really want to get my hands on the 16 because I don't like the 14s in general, even of the Yolas. That's
why I said use the 16.
I'm not the biggest fan on the Yolas. So, but it felt very similar to the 14 Yolas when I played with it. I am intrigued to hit it with weight though, because when I hit it, it didn't have weight. It was just stock.
Yeah.
So I think it would definitely change a lot. Stability was definitely a problem.
Yeah.
Without weight. I mean, it's really easy to mess up Gen 3 paddles.
Yeah.
If it doesn't break and it plays well.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of the thing that time will tell on is how's the durability of this. And obviously all Gen 3 paddles break, but it's just, how fast do they break?
Yeah.
Because for most people, like I think Gen 3 paddles actually do last long enough, assuming the paddle didn't have corrupted cells or compressed core or anything like that. I think the average player really doesn't core crush many paddles. I mean, I fall into that. Like it takes a lot for me to core crush a paddle unless it's already been compromised. Then it can happen quicker. But yeah, just kind of wanted to give some updated thoughts on this because since adding weight, this has definitely been higher up on my list of paddles that I've enjoyed.
Yeah.
Versus when we first tested it. And obviously I like testing paddle stock first because not everyone adds weight. Not everyone wants to customize. People want to, sometimes just get a paddle out of the box and it plays well.
Yep.
Segueing though into the paddle that you and I have both been playing and maining as of late. And that's the Thrive Fury elongated. And this is what I used at Worlds. One thing I will say on this one, the weighting on this one is different than my original unit. And so I had to mess around a little bit with weight. And the bigger issue I ran into though is mine became bottom light because I took off the stock grip, which I did not do on my other one, which I had play tested with. I just played in stock, no overgrip, no nothing. And I love taking off the stock grip and doing two overgrips,
which is crazy.
It was too thin. It was what you've said about other paddles for this one, it was too thin and it became too bottom light.
Yeah.
And literally I'm like, oh my gosh, if I had a sliced coin or a PB effect coin or a flick weight, like it would be perfect. Probably like one of the light ones just to put on the bottom to fix it. Didn't have one of those on the road. So I ended up wrapping a third one. So I'm basically probably to what a stock grip is again.
Yeah.
Just with a more tacky grip. But it was one of those things of I just got in my head with how the paddle felt. So I started messing around with weight. I almost have a very similar setup to you. I just went a little bit higher with the break. But I'm going to get another unit and I'm going to try just a little bit on 3 and 9 and just do one overgrip over the stock grip. Because I think that'll be the perfect setup for me on this one. And part of it is just because like this is for an elongated, it's a lighter swing weight.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
Not that we mentioned one earlier, like 123. That is on the higher end for what we see, but that's not really that heavy in the realm of things. I mean, when we look at what the pros use.
No, for sure.
But these, I think it was 117 to 119 or 120 are the options.
Mine was 118.
Yeah. And I think this one was barely 117. So it's like, okay, either I need to get a 119 just off the start, or I just need to not take off the stock grip because it was just the way the balance point of the paddle got messed up for me. And then I just got in my head.
Yeah.
But getting in, aside from that, I just want to bring it up because I've been loving this paddle stock, and then I'm showing this paddle with, I think, probably 5 grams on the side.
Yeah.
A little bit on the throat and a little bit on 3 and 9. But we want to talk about a gritty paddle that is easy to shape shots, that feels great, and is a Yola on a budget.
It's so good.
It's great.
I literally haven't used anything else lately. Yeah. It's just really good. It's overall, I mean, it's just a better Yola. That's literally all it is. It has more grit, and other than that, it's pretty much the same. I think it feels better, but that's going to come down to
preference.
Because
as we said,
but it definitely has more grit, and it hits just as hard as Yola, and
yeah. It sits right in between the 3S and the Pro 4 for feel, and I think it's more towards the 3S, which for me is what I like the feel of.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's just intriguing of this, because as I mentioned, I think in my brief, I did a short review on this for the release just because I'd already reviewed the hybrid. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't want to, it's going to be mostly the same thing regurgitated. But the biggest difference is this is less poppy, which is shocking. But it is. And it's funny because I had played with the prototypes a couple months back and we were finding that as well, that the hybrid was like hitting harder. It was more poppier. Now the power came back for the elongated on the final production, but the pop was still lower. Yeah. Which I personally love, because when you play against bangers and you're blocking, the ball doesn't fly out. And that happened a couple times with the lifetime ball in the hybrid and my first PPA in Vegas that I played indoors where Jack and I got silver. And granted, obviously it still worked out, but there was a couple where I'm just like, ooh, I wish there was just a little bit less pop. But yeah, and it's interesting too, because you play 16 millimeters, this comes in at 15.5. Yeah. And it's got the fiberglass in the middle layer, so it's not that top layer either, which is like the Power Series from 11.624, just too stiff. Because typically I don't like fiberglass, but when it's in the middle layer, like ones like the All Pro Power from 11.624, I don't mind the feedback from it.
For sure.
But yeah, it's just a very enjoyable paddle. You can pick up, you can play it. You have options in swing weight. I think the warranty is like 6 months, but I think you get 2 replacements in those 6 months. Yeah. So it's not a year long, but also I know like Yola, I think, has a year-long warranty, but like I think you also only get 2.
Yeah.
So it's like you get the same amount, or roughly, maybe it's only 1 replacement in the 6 months. I don't know. But regardless, it's I remember looking into it, and it's like it's only like 1 paddle different. And in all honesty, too, I think most of us can be honest. After 6 months, we're probably not using the same paddle.
Yeah,
everyone's paddle nerds, especially anyone watching this.
Yeah,
like I'll probably always have this in my bag, just like the Flamingo. But it's like you're going to move on to newer and exciting things unless there's just, you need old reliable for a certain event.
For sure.
But yeah. And it comes in 3 colors. I know you've been using the pink, and then it comes in a really, really nice looking blue.
Yeah.
color. So I love the red.
Yeah. No, they're all really cool.
I would like a black and white and elongated though, which the hybrid has. I think they have a pink and a black.
Yeah, I would like
but yeah, just black and white's just easy. It's classic. And then I can do a different color grip. That's the one thing I joked about also. But
exactly.
yeah, I think that kind of wraps up paddles though. We'll be more consistent with the next one. I'm assuming probably 2 weeks for the next pod. But maybe 1 week. I do have another giveaway coming up. Might be tailored around 6-0. But yeah. So let's get into some more of the personal stuff that's been going on. Didn't want to start with that because I don't know how long this is going to be. But obviously you and I played in Vegas.
Yep.
And we played singles. Don't know why. And then we played doubles. And you want to say how singles went?
I was 6-1 on the day, so it was pretty good.
Who was your one loss to?
You. I freaking had it again.
You did have it.
That time I had it, it was freaking 7-2.
Yeah, you should have beat me.
I blew it, but
I only had to bring it up because I remember last year we brought this up on the pod, and you were like, "Oh, we're going to play you next year. I'm going to beat you." And
yeah. So undefeated besides you on the day.
That is crazy because I lost. Yeah, I lost.
You lost
2 matches.
2 matches. Yeah. And then you won gold, and I won bronze.
Yeah. I mean, you would have probably won silver.
Probably would have won.
I think.
Yeah.
The guy I played, I mean, he had my number in the pool because we did pool play.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I just could not. He had this cross court shot that like, I mean, I'm a big dude with a long wingspan, and I could not cover it.
Yeah.
But he did say after the match, he's like, "Oh, I have not hit those all day."
Yeah.
But then he was hitting them. So I'm like, okay, I'm screwed for the final. And then I think the first game, because it was 1 game to 15 in pool play, and then it was 3 games to 11 for the gold medal match. And the first game, I think I beat him like 11-2.
Yeah.
But then the second game was a grind.
Yeah.
I got up, but like I was getting like 1 point every like 3 side outs. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And I was tired.
Yeah. And then played doubles. It was good. We won. I think we won our first 2?
I think we won our first 2.
And then we won first game.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly. It was like 11-4.
And then they made an adjustment.
They made a really good adjustment.
And remind me, that was a lefty-righty combo, no?
I don't think so.
No, it wasn't. Okay, so they ended up stacking then.
Yeah, they were stacking, and they made
2 and 3.
They made an adjustment. One guy hadn't played great in the first game, started playing really good in the second game, and just adjusting well. Really good counters. Long points. Long points. It was
long points that were playing well, and we never hit the last one.
Yeah, they always got the last one down.
But not like that, like we'd get setups though. Like there was like 5 or 6 points where we'd get a pop up or like an easy counter and like just dumping into the net. I whiffed like 2. I don't know if the wind was picking up a little bit, but that was the most frustrating match.
Yeah.
Out of the 3 PPAs I've played, that one after I was kind of ticked off, not at the guys for beating us, but just like, I don't know what happened to both of us.
Yeah, we kind of fell apart. I would say a big part is just, and I'm going to say it, I said it last time.
Yeah.
I'm done with singles.
Yeah. I was never.
My legs hurt.
I've never been more sore than after that singles day, and I have no idea why.
We played like 7 games.
And it was quick,
and
too.
it was a lot. So,
because even
done with singles.
Which I'll get into at Worlds, but like, my singles day, which I was texting you, was a long day.
Yeah,
I was a little bit. I was more exhausted than my legs were sore.
Yeah, no.
Vegas, my legs were gone.
We were playing the entire time.
Yeah,
and then
we won 1 or 2 backdraw. I think we won 2 backdraw matches, and then the third we should have.
We might have won 3.
It might have been 3
because we were 1 away from the bronze match, which is where we lost last year. And we should have won that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have won the last game too. But it was 16-14, I think.
Yeah. And we got up, I think 14, like 12.
Yeah, 14-13 maybe.
Yeah, they were up, then we passed them. We had a chance to win, didn't, and then they got 2 in a row.
Yeah, I think it was 13-12, and then they scored 2, and I think we scored 1. And then
that was a match I would have loved to have a ref on for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
But they were good though. Like that's not to discredit, but there was just some questionable calls in that one and some questionable kitchen violations as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But they those last 2 points, they beat us. Like
for sure.
There was nothing questionable at the end. There was just some questionable stuff in the middle, but also it's a tournament. We were on a back court with temporary lines. Like it's hard to see.
Tired too.
Yeah, long day. So regardless, that one sucked because I know we wanted to get on the podium.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I ran a marathon the next day.
That's crazy.
So I went singles, doubles, marathon on Sunday. And yeah, that was not fun. My legs did not like me because I was already I was so sore going into Sunday that I was like, this was terrible. This was a terrible choice.
Yeah.
But luckily, just kind of got in the flow of things. I was able to run like the first 17 miles. I did not really prep for this marathon, just also give me a heads up. I was running consistently like 3 miles, but I never ran farther than the half marathon, which I didn't train for in like March. So yeah, but it went well.
Yeah, it was pretty fast.
Sub 5, and for no training, I was happy with that. And my first, I think the half marathon I ran in like 2:10, which that was what I was more trying to get. I would have loved sub 2, but maybe the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a long week. Walking was not fun the next 2 days, and then I was good after that. But it was 2 days of pain.
And then you came home, and then you went to Worlds this weekend.
Yeah, that was. I'll say it again, and I hope we can go next year. If you're going to attend one pickleball event as a fan, go to Worlds.
Yeah.
And this year was great because the weather was really nice, other than Sunday.
Yeah.
And not that it was just a little windy, but it was so cold on Sunday. Like I did not pack a hoodie. If I had a hoodie, it probably would have been fine, but I was freezing my butt off.
Yeah.
And then the wind was kind of gusting a little bit. So some of the matches, granted, championship court is kind of down, so it is a little bit sheltered by the wind, but it was swirling. Just it's going to happen. It's outside. But great weather throughout the week. It rained like 2 days last year, so didn't have any problems with that. Bunch of the reviewers were there, like Lewis from Pickleball Pursuit, Justin from Pickleball Etc., and he actually spoke because he helps the new Volair paddle that's going to be coming out. They had a panel,
nice,
on the concert stage. So when I first walked in, I saw him. I'm like, I think that's Justin on the stage with the Volair guys. And they had an event one night, which unfortunately I wasn't in town for. And then John Q was my partner again. And who else am I missing? Saw Brian from Building Pickleball at 6-0 events. Rafa, Pickleball Tech Dude, was there. More on that. I hope I'm not missing anybody. I know. Oh, Majengo's from F&B. Met him at the Bread and Butter event. Just a lot, and then just a ton of brand owners. Like a lot of FaceTime with people that you're emailing throughout the year. So it was a great networking event. Absolute blast. Watched a lot of the pro pickleball, but competed in singles. Won my first match. Lost my second match. Got blown out in game 1. Almost won game 2. The guy I lost to, though, ended up winning. So that made it feel a little bit better. And then I won, I think, 2 backdraw matches. But my one complaint is that was the longest day. After my second match, I waited 3.5 hours for my first backdraw match.
That's crazy.
And there was like another hour and a half. Like there was a Bread and Butter event Friday night that I was supposed to go to. And I'm like, there's no chance I'm making it. I don't think I left the venue till 9:30.
That's wild.
It was terrible.
That's terrible.
But yeah, I won another heartbreaker. My last backdraw match, I was down 14 to like, I don't know, 6, maybe 5. And I got up 15-14 with the ball. And then I lost. He called timeout. Good timeout. I was happy to be out of there, though, because I would have had to have won 2 more matches to get into bronze. I would have been there till past 10. It was a long day. I was exhausted. And then John and I, who we won bronze last year, we paired up. We played against Rafa, Pickleball Tech Dude, and his partner in round 1. I'm sure they'll both talk about it. And we all filmed it. I don't think I'm going to do a video this year because I did a little vlog, but took care of business on that. We won it in 2.
Nice.
And then John and I went indoors, which was our kryptonite last year because John, I think he's partially colorblind. and it's terrible lighting on the indoor courts. And so that was the one match we lost last year. And we won the first game easy. Second game, they were in control the entire time. And then we were down in game 3 early, but we fought back. That was a really good win. Like, that was probably the best I felt after a pickleball match in a long time, just because like it didn't look like we were going to win it. But then got absolutely crushed in our third match, and also the eventual winners, which does feel better. That one, lefty righty combo, which I swear, that's why I asked if that's what we had lost to in Vegas, because lefty righty combo is the one thing where just I need a better strategy for it. Just we played fine. We missed some shots, but we just couldn't find a game plan and get in a rhythm against them. And then we waited like 2 hours, and then we had our back draw match and just got crushed. We fought back, but got crushed. And I think John and I were better than the two guys that beat us. Granted, like good players, but just I think John and I feel like we should have won that match. Just we were like John said it best. Like last year when one person was down, the other person could pick you up, and that's what you hope for. When one of us was down, like the other one was down, and we were just making errors left and right. John just had a couple deflections that flew off his paddle. I dumped a couple in the net on the speed ups. It was not a good showing for us.
Yeah.
He's going to put it in PB vision. So we're going to see. I am so open to criticism on this one, because I'm like, I know I didn't play well, but like, I'd really love to know like what specifically went wrong for us.
Yeah. For sure.
The only thing is we didn't really play much this year. Yeah. And part of it was because singles went so late for me. Yeah, we had planned to play Friday night and kind of prep with our main paddles, and just we didn't get to do it. So I think that hurt us. And John also was coming off a foot injury. Not to make excuses, but it kind of stung, because it's like our dupers were higher last year. We placed bronze in this division last year. And then we got, we were 3 matches away from bronze again in back draw this year. So it's like we didn't really get close. So that was a little bit tough. But the one complaint I'll have is I think they had like 1,500 or 2,000 people sign up last year. This year, I think they had 3,500, which explains why the waits were terrible this year.
Yeah.
Like we started at 8 a.m. and I think we ended at 3. And that was with having 3 more matches had we kept winning.
Yeah.
So that was my one complaint this year. My one complaint is the wait times were terrible. And I'm sure it's a big event, costs a lot of money.
For sure.
Get a lot of registrations. That makes up for the high price, because it's an experience. It's like Coachella for pickleball.
Yeah.
And they adjusted where the stage was this year, because it used to be in the middle last year, and they put it all at the end, which I think was a great adjustment. It was terrible because it was right next to some of the courts. So like our last match, you could not hear anything like talking wise or yelling the score. But for the actual flow of like Pickleball Boulevard, I thought it was a great choice.
Yeah.
And because I was so late there on my singles day, I actually got to see one of the concerts. So I guess that was nice. But yeah, no, it was just a spectacular event. Like I said, I was glad they had good weather. It's just so cool seeing everybody. I actually ran into one of my friends from Vegas that lived with Jack. Randomly. He moved to Austin, and I guess one of his friends knows somebody in pickleball, and literally was just walking by while I was talking to Dale from 6-0, and I was like, what in the world are you doing here? So just small world. And cool. I hope you can go next year, because it's so fun to hang out with everybody and just
it's a cool place.
See everyone. So
cool. Last thing, I want to jump in this. I've been wearing these compression sleeves from Flytex. I've been dealing with a knee injury for 2 weeks now, or 2 months now. It's finally getting better. Finally running again. Training for. I was going to do a full marathon. I'm going to do a half now because knee injury.
No, that's please don't jack it up.
But these things have really helped. I've never really worn like compression sleeves when lifting or anything before, and they've been helping tremendously. Flytex did send these over, and I really appreciate it. It's been great.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll do another follow up to see how your knee's going on this pod.
I wore these in Vegas.
You did. I was going to ask
in Vegas,
kind of
and then I wore them.
What those were.
Yeah, I wore them in Vegas, and then I've been wearing them running, and
just helped a lot. Recovery.
Just blood flow and just keeping the legs compressed. So.
Yeah, I know, because you were having some issues when you started getting back into running. Because I know you and your wife.
Oh my goodness!
You were supposed to run with me possibly in Vegas. And that didn't happen.
That definitely didn't happen. But yeah, overall everything's been good, and I'm
awesome.
I'm excited.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll definitely be excited to hear more on that. And the only other thing I want to bring up, and I know we're kind of rambling on, but obviously it's been a month and there's a lot I wanted to cover, which is also why I wanted to do the paddles first, because I figured this is going to be all over the place. Back to the lifetime ball. One, loving that ball.
Yeah, it's great.
It was good. It's no bad bounces. We're on outdoor courts. It's fantastic. And also no temporary lines at Worlds.
Yeah.
Everything's painted.
Nice.
But going back to what Zane had brought up about saying it's the lifetime ball, it's not. New courts with the lifetime, or any ball actually, destroy your paddle face.
Yeah.
Like this was a brand new paddle.
I will say, I think it is partly the lifetime ball.
But the thing is, last year
it holds so much because mine got scratched up at Horizon with the lifetime ball.
Interesting.
But yes, the new. I mean,
but wasn't it already scratched up before? Because the reason I would say this
No.
is you had brought up the mod last year when we used it in Vegas. It got destroyed.
I will say new courts more than the lifetime ball.
Okay,
but the lifetime ball does not help for sure.
Interesting. Okay, that was one thing I wanted to ask.
But yes, I mean, in Vegas last year, our mods got
ruined, absolutely ruined with the new courts that they painted.
Yep.
And obviously we had played 2 days on them with singles and doubles. And obviously we both had played a lot of singles that year as well. So I was just looking at my Fury when I got back and I'm like, this is terrible.
But the lifetime ball is awesome.
Yeah, no, the ball is great. But yeah, it's a little bit rougher on the surface. And especially with new courts. Because everything was paved again.
Yeah.
At Worlds.
It is hard when they pave it the week before.
Yeah. I mean, it is great.
It's really nice.
Yeah. But it's not good for the paddle face. But anyways, that's pretty much all I had. Like I said, the 6-0 stuff's really exciting. It's nice that Proton's finally releasing some new stuff, specifically the Peacock, hoping it lives up to half of my expectations.
Yeah.
And there's some new stuff from Engage, new stuff from F&B. We'll cover more of this on our next pod. I'll do an update. I don't know if it'll be next week, but at worst, I promise we'll have a new episode within 2 weeks to cover more stuff, just because there is a lot.
Yeah.
And we also will have a new giveaway, which I know I teased already. So
cool.
Be on the lookout for that on our next pod. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Thank you guys.
We'll see you next time.